On September 15, 2025, the U.S. Army publicly unveiled its advanced Typhon medium-range missile system at Marine Corps Air Station Iwakuni in western Japan. This marked a bold new step in U.S.-Japan military cooperation, sending a clear message across the Indo-Pacific. The Typhon's arrival is a direct response to the region's shifting security landscape, as rival nations expand their missile arsenals. The system's presence at Iwakuni, a key base in the first island chain, underscores its strategic importance. This demonstration was timed with a major joint military exercise, amplifying its impact and signaling readiness to potential adversaries. Unlike past hesitations, both Washington and Tokyo now show greater resolve to bolster their collective defense. The Typhon's deployment, even temporarily, reflects a more assertive strategy to deter aggression and protect shared interests. Iwakuni's location along the first island chain, a critical defensive line stretching from Japan through Taiwan to the Philippines, makes this move highly symbolic. Placing Typhon here signals a commitment to defend this strategic area. The U.S.-Japan alliance is proving itself as an active, prepared partnership, not just a paper agreement. This moment marks a turning point in the region's security dynamics. The Typhon, or Mid-Range Capability System, is a mobile, land-based missile launcher central to U.S. Army modernization. Mounted on trucks, Typhon can be rapidly deployed by air, sea, or land, making it hard to target and easy to reposition. Its real strength lies in its firepower. It launches Tomahawk cruise missiles and Standard Missile-6 SM-6. Tomahawks can strike targets over 1,500 kilometers away, within reach of mainland China from Japan. The SM-6 is versatile, able to intercept aircraft, missiles, and strike ships at sea. Typhon uses proven technology, adapting existing missiles for ground launch, which speeds up deployment and simplifies training. This approach allows the U.S. and allies to quickly scale up missile capabilities in response to regional threats. The system's mobility and versatility create dilemmas for adversaries, forcing them to defend against multiple types of attacks. Colonel Wade German, who commands the Typhon Task Force, says its flexibility complicates enemy planning. By introducing Typhon, the U.S. military gains a powerful tool to deter aggression and maintain stability. Its presence in Japan is a clear signal. The U.S. and its allies are ready to counter any threat. Typhon's arrival marks a new era in regional defense. Typhon's debut in Japan is part of Resolute Dragon, a major annual U.S.-Japan military exercise. This wargame, running from September 11 to 25, brings both nations' forces together for intensive joint training. The goal to ensure seamless cooperation in any crisis, from disaster relief to defending key maritime territories. Exercises focus on command, logistics, and joint operations, turning two militaries into a unified team. This year's scenarios emphasize defending the first island chain and integrating new capabilities like Typhon. By training together, the U.S. and Japan build trust and demonstrate their commitment to a free and open Indo-Pacific. Resolute Dragon sends a powerful message. These allies are prepared to stand together against any threat. The exercise strengthens the alliance and reinforces regional stability. Resolute Dragon 2025 is massive, involving over 19,000 U.S. and Japanese personnel across multiple locations. The exercise features warships, fighter jets, surveillance aircraft, and ground troops equipped with advanced technology. Typhon's inclusion adds complexity, allowing both militaries to practice deploying and integrating this new system. No live missiles are fired. The focus is on training, integration, and simulating real-world scenarios. Troops rehearse rapid deployments to remote islands, securing choke points, and conducting joint strikes. The exercise tests the alliance's readiness and ability to operate under pressure. Colonel German emphasizes that this rigorous training ensures both forces can use Typhon effectively in a crisis. By practicing together, the U.S. and Japan hone their warfighting skills for 21st century challenges. The scale and realism of Resolute Dragon demonstrate the alliance's commitment to mutual defense. This preparation is vital for maintaining security in a volatile region. China reacted swiftly and angrily to Typhon's public display in Japan. Beijing condemned the deployment as a direct threat to its national security and demanded its immediate withdrawal. China's foreign ministry accused the US and Japan of disregarding its security concerns and escalating regional tensions. Officials warned that introducing such weapons could trigger an arms race and increase the risk of military confrontation. From Beijing's perspective, Typhon is not defensive but a tool of aggression aimed at containing China. This strong response signals a period of heightened diplomatic tension. The war of words over Typhon highlights deep mistrust and strategic rivalry in the Indo-Pacific. The deployment has become a flashpoint in US-China relations. US and Chinese officials offer starkly different narratives about Typhon's deployment. The US frames Typhon as a defensive tool, enhancing deterrence and providing commanders with more options. American leaders stress the deployment is temporary, part of a routine exercise, and not a permanent base. The focus is on readiness and interoperability with Japan, not provocation. In contrast, China sees Typhon as destabilizing and offensive, capable of striking its territory. Chinese officials demand its withdrawal, warning that its presence damages regional stability and bilateral relations. This perception gap fuels ongoing diplomatic friction and strategic competition. China accuses the US of fueling an arms race and increasing the risk of conflict. The US insists it's acting responsibly to protect allies and maintain peace. These opposing views set the stage for prolonged tension in the Indo-Pacific. The Typhon deployment has become a symbol of the broader US-China rivalry. Typhon's appearance in Japan follows its earlier deployment to the Philippines in April 2024. That event marked the first US land-based mid-range missile launcher in Asia since the Cold War. Both deployments signal a new US strategy distributing firepower across the Indo-Pacific with mobile missile systems. The Philippine deployment drew sharp criticism from China and Russia, highlighting the geopolitical stakes. These moves became possible after the end of the INF Treaty, which had restricted such missiles. The US aims to counter China's growing missile arsenal by placing its own systems with allies. Following joint exercises, the Philippines announced plans to acquire Typhon, showing allies' willingness to build similar capabilities. This trend could create a network of nations equipped with modern, compatible missile systems. While strengthening collective defense, it also raises concerns about a regional arms race. Typhon's deployment is part of a broader military buildup sweeping the Indo-Pacific. China continues to increase its defense budget, modernizing its military and expanding its missile arsenal. In response, regional powers like Japan and Taiwan are boosting their own defenses, acquiring long-range missiles and new warships. This action-reaction cycle is fueling a classic arms race, with each move prompting countermeasures. Just a few years ago, such demonstrations might have been avoided to prevent provoking China. Now, there's a greater willingness to accept risk, reflecting hardened positions on all sides. The region is becoming more militarized, raising the risk of miscalculation and crisis escalation. Strategic competition is now the Indo-Pacific's new reality. Typhon's arrival in Japan marks a lasting shift in the region's security landscape. The US-Japan alliance is moving from passive defense to active, forward-deployed deterrence. Distributed mobile missile systems like Typhon make allied forces more resilient and flexible. However, this also increases complexity and volatility, putting host nations on the front lines. The arms race is likely to intensify, with China accelerating its own missile development and other countries considering similar moves. The Philippines' decision to acquire Typhon may be just the beginning of a regional trend. The challenge ahead is balancing military strength with diplomacy to avoid conflict. How nations manage this new reality will shape the Indo-Pacific's peace and prosperity for decades. Typhon's debut has drawn new lines in the sand, redefining the future of Asian security.